The snack incident. Jake Wilson was alone on Outpost 17, a small space station near the edge of known space. He was the only human there. The rest of the crew were alien workers, most of them tall, quiet, and very strange. Jake worked as a technician, fixing machines and sending reports back to Earth. It was a boring job, but it paid well. He had one rule: never share his snacks. Earth snacks were rare here. Once a month, a small cargo ship brought him a box of supplies. Inside were things he missed from home: peanut butter, noodles, and his favorite, Choco Nut Bars, soft, sweet, and crunchy. The last one was in his locker. He had saved it for a special moment. Today was that moment. The lights in the corridor buzzed as Jake walked to the break room. He opened the silver wrapper slowly, carefully like it was gold. The smell made him smile. He sat alone at the table, ready to enjoy his last taste of Earth for the month. But he wasn't alone. From the shadows of the hall, Caragzel watched him. She was a warrior from the Zarkali species, tall, powerful, with glowing purple eyes. People were known for their strength and odd customs. They believed in signs, rituals, and ancient traditions. Kara had been observing Jake for weeks. She found him strange, small, and somehow interesting. Today, she made her move. As Jake raised the Choco Nut Bar to his mouth, Kara stormed into the room. Without a word, she grabbed the snack from his hand and took a big bite. Jake froze. Chocolate smeared on her sharp teeth. She stared at him, her eyes glowing brighter. "It is done," she said in a deep voice. Jake blinked. What?" Kara stepped closer. "The bond is sealed. I accept your offering. We are now partners." "Partners?" Jake stood up. Whoa, I think you misunderstood. That was my last bar." Kara placed a strong hand on his shoulder. "You gave it freely. In Zarkali culture, this is the mating ritual. It is how we choose life partners." Jake's mouth dropped open. "Wait. You think I proposed to you?" Kara nodded proudly. "You are brave, and your offering was sweet. I accept." Jake backed away, laughing nervously. This has to be a joke. But it wasn't. Within minutes, the news spread across the station. Aliens from different species came to congratulate him. One even gave him a necklace made of bones. Another offered him a sleeping mat for two. Kara stood proudly next to Jake, announcing their union to her people. Jake kept trying to explain it was all a mistake, but no one seemed to listen. To them, this was a sacred ritual. No turning back. He pulled aside his friend Torv, a green-skinned alien with 4 arms and a kind heart. "Torv, help me. I didn't mean to start a mating ritual. I just wanted my snack." Torv chuckled. "Snack means love to Zarkali. They don't share food unless they want to bond for life. But I didn't share it. She stole it. Same thing to them." Jake ran back to his room. He closed the door and locked it. What just happened? Was he now married? To an alien? Suddenly a soft beep at the door. "Jake?" Kara's voice came through the speaker. "I prepared something for you." "What is it now?" "A gift. In my culture, after the ritual, the female protects the male. I destroyed 2 machines that annoyed you." "Wait, you what?" "Also, I howled at the moon for 7 minutes. It shows my loyalty." Jake put his head in his hands. This wasn't happening, and yet, part of him was curious. Kara was strong, strange, and terrifying, but she had also noticed the little things, the machines that beeped too loud, the loneliness in Jake's voice. No one else cared like that. Outside, the station lights dimmed. Night cycle began. Jake stared at the empty Choco Nut wrapper on the table. Who knew one snack could change his life? Inside his room, the walls felt smaller than usual. Heavier. Was this how love began in space? He sighed and opened the door. Kara stood there, holding a gift. A homemade metal sculpture shaped like a heart. It was awkward, a little sharp, and a little crooked, but it was real. "I made this," she said quietly. "For you." Jake took it. "Thanks, I think." Kara looked proud. I will protect you. Always. Jake looked up at her, a little scared, but also a little amazed. This was not how he thought his day would go, and it was just the beginning. The alien engagement. Jake didn't sleep much after the snack incident. How could he? One moment he was enjoying a choco nut bar, and the next he was engaged to a 7-foot alien warrior who thought chocolate meant love. Carexel wasn't just any alien, she was a Zarkali, and Zarkali don't play games. In their culture, once the food bond is accepted, the next step is public declaration. And that's exactly what happened the next morning. The sound of metal drums echoed through Outpost 17. Banners made of bright alien fabric hung from the ceilings. Strange symbols glowed on the walls. Someone had even carved a giant statue of Jake holding a choconut bar. What the hell is happening? Jake whispered, still in his pajamas. Torv, his green-skinned friend, looked amused. Today is the binding ceremony. You and Kara will be joined before the council. Joined? Jake shouted. I didn't even agree to this, Torv shrugged. It's not about what you agreed to. It's about what she accepted. You offered the bond, she answered. Jake sighed, rubbing his temples. This place is insane. But deep down, something strange was happening inside him. A voice whispered, "Don't run. See where it goes." He hated that voice. The ceremony was held in the Great Hall, a massive chamber deep inside the space station. Glowing stones lined the floor. Alien elders stood in silence. The air smelled like spice and metal. Kara wore a ceremonial suit, dark armor with symbols of her family carved into the chest plate. She looked fierce and proud. Jake? He wore his only clean jumpsuit and felt like a chicken about to be cooked. Kara stepped forward. Elders of the Flame, she said in her powerful voice. I, Kara Excel, daughter of the Red Wind, claim this Earthman, Jake of Wilson, as my bond partner. He has proven generous, bold, and sweet of spirit. His offering was accepted. I stand beside him. Jake stepped forward slowly. Hi, I'm Jake, and I think this is all a big misunderstanding. The crowd went silent. An elder, tall with silver eyes, spoke. Do you deny the offering? Jake paused. He looked at Kara. Her eyes glowed with both strength and something softer. Was it hope? I didn't mean to offer anything, Jake said carefully. But I guess I did. So, maybe we can take this slow? The elder nodded. Then the bond is tentative. It must be tested. Suddenly a loud roar shook the hall. A massive Zarkali male stepped forward. Drakren, twice the size of Jake, eyes full of hate. I challenge the Earthmen, he growled. The female should have chosen a warrior, not a weakling. Kara stepped between them. You dare challenge my bond? Drakren spat on the floor. He is soft. He is unworthy. Then prove it, Kara said coldly. The trial of fire begins. Jake had no idea what the trial of fire was until he was standing in a training ring surrounded by shouting aliens. He was shirtless, sweating, holding a dull, heavy weapon that looked like a mix between a club and a toaster. Drakren entered the ring with a massive hammer and a grin. You ready to die for a snack, human? He laughed. I'm ready to wake up from this nightmare, Jake muttered. A loud bell rang. The duel began. Drak charged like a bull. Jake rolled to the side, barely missing a blow that cracked the floor. He had no chance in strength, but he was faster and smarter. He used the environment, dodged, ducked, even threw sand in Drak's face. Cheap trick, the alien roared. Human trick, Jake shouted back. The crowd roared with laughter. Finally, Jake climbed a support beam and jumped, swinging his blunt weapon down hard on Drak's head. The big alien fell, not dead, but defeated. The arena fell silent. Then came the sound of slow, rhythmic clapping. Kara. She walked into the ring and lifted Jake's hand in victory. He is not weak, she declared. He is clever and brave. And mine. Later that night, Jake sat outside the station dome, staring at the stars. Bruises covered his body, but his mind was full of questions. Kara sat beside him. "You fought well," she said. "And you did not run. Most would." "I don't know why I stayed," Jake admitted. Kara looked at him. "I do. Because even if your words say no, your heart says maybe." He looked at her. Her eyes weren't scary tonight. They were honest. Real. "This is all so fast," he whispered. "Zarkali do not waste time," she said. "When we find something rare, we claim it." Jake chuckled. "So I'm rare now?" Kara smiled. "Very rare." Just then, a small orb flew toward them. It blinked red. A message. Kara caught it and opened the projection. A voice crackled. "Alert. Unidentified vessels near Outpost 17. Approaching fast. Unknown origin. Prepare for contact." Kara stood up instantly, her expression sharp. "We need to go." "What is it?" Jake asked. Kara narrowed her eyes. "Trouble. And maybe something worse." The trial of Worth the stars outside Outpost 17 no longer looked peaceful. They blinked like warning lights in a dark tunnel. Carexel stood on the observation deck, arms crossed, eyes sharp. Beside her, Jake stared at the glowing dots in the distance. They weren't stars. They were ships. Unknown, silent, and getting closer. "Who are they?" Jake asked quietly. Kara didn't answer right away. "Ghost Fleet," she finally said. "They vanished years ago. Now they return. And that's bad? They carry no flags, no signals, no names, only silence and death." The outpost's alarms rang low and deep, a heartbeat of metal. Crew members ran to stations, weapons, powered up. Shields activated. Jake stood still, out of place. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a hero. He was just a human who lost a snack and gained a wife. Kara turned to him. "This may become war." "Okay, then we run, right?" She shook her head. "Zarkali do not run. We test our strength. We face the fire." "I was afraid you'd say that." Then came the voice of Elder Tharn, leader of the Zarkali on the outpost. "Carexel, bring your bondmate, the council summons him." In the Hall of Firestones, the air was thick with heat and silence. Flames danced in pits along the walls. Elder Tharn sat in the center, a long staff resting across his knees. "The Ghost Fleet approaches," Tharn said. "We must decide who leads our response." Kara stepped forward. "I will. This is my station." Another elder raised a hand. "You are bonded now. Your partner must also prove his worth. He must pass the trial." Jake's stomach twisted. "Me? Again? Didn't I already fight a giant with a hammer?" "This is different," Tharn said. "This is the trial of worth. It is not strength of body we seek. It is strength of soul." "Okay," Jake muttered. "That sounds way worse." The next morning, Jake was blindfolded and led through cold tunnels. When the cloth came off, he was in a deep underground chamber. Glowing roots grew from the walls. Strange lights floated in the air like jellyfish. In front of him stood 3 doors: metal, stone, and glass. A voice echoed from the walls. "Choose a path. One shows truth. One shows fear. One shows self." "I hate puzzles," Jake muttered. He looked at each door. The metal door was rusted and heavy. The stone door was rough with carvings of battle. The glass door was clear. He could see a reflection, but it wasn't moving like him. He walked toward the glass door. As he touched it, it shattered into white light. Jake found himself standing on Earth, or something like it. He saw his old apartment, his bed, the small kitchen, the posters on the wall, the broken coffee maker. Home. But no one was there. He walked through the rooms. They were silent, empty, frozen in time. Then, a screen lit up, a news report. "Earth has been destroyed. No help is coming. You are alone." The screen went dark. A voice whispered from the walls. "Will you run, Jake Wilson, or will you rise?" He dropped to his knees. Everything he had run from, loneliness, fear, his own doubts, they surrounded him now. He wasn't strong. He wasn't brave. He was just him. But then he remembered Kara's words. When we find something rare, we claim it. She believed in him even when he didn't. He stood. I won't run. The room cracked like glass. Reality bent. He fell into darkness and landed back in the Hall of Firestones. The elders were waiting. What did you see? One asked. Everything. I'm afraid of, Jake said. And everything I left behind. And what did you choose? To stop running. Elder Tharn smiled for the first time. Then you pass. Kara met him outside. She looked at him, not like he was weak or foolish, but like he was hers, a partner, not just by ritual, but by choice. You went into the glass path, she said softly. Yeah. Saw a lot, felt worse, but came out better. She placed her hand on his chest. Your heart is stronger now. He looked into her glowing eyes. I think you're the only one who sees that. Suddenly, a deep rumble shook the station. The Ghost Fleet had arrived. Outpost 17 went dark. Enemy ships hovered above the dome, silent but heavy like thunderclouds. The main screen flashed with static. And then, a face. Not alien, not human. Something in between. Jake Wilson, the voice said, distorted and cold. We know you. We remember your kind. You should not be here. Kara stepped forward. You threaten a warrior's bond. That is dishonor. The voice laughed. You think your bond matters to us? He is a seed of a war we lost long ago. Jake frowned. What does that mean? It means, the voice hissed, that your past is not just yours. It belongs to something ancient, and it has returned. The transmission cut. Sirens wailed. Outside, the enemy ships opened their weapon ports. Kara looked at Jake. We fight. Jake nodded. Together. Secrets of the species, space trembled. The Ghost Fleet hovered like shadows over Outpost 17. Their ships were smooth, black, and completely silent. No lights, no windows. Just floating death. Inside the command chamber, everyone waited for orders. Jake stood beside Kara Exel, heart pounding. He had no weapon, no armor, only questions, and one terrible feeling. They came for him. The Zarkali Council gathered in a circle, whispering in their ancient tongue. Strange energy buzzed in the air. Elder Tharn raised his staff. These are not just invaders, he said. They are memory hunters. They erase bloodlines, destroy connections, burn family roots. Jake frowned. What does that have to do with me? Kara looked at him with new eyes, concerned, uncertain. You are human, Tharn said, but your soul may not be. The room fell silent. Excuse me? Jake asked. Tharn pointed at the screen showing the enemy fleet. We have seen their mark before. And every time they seek a carrier, someone with hidden code in their blood. Kara's face tightened. A dormant species signature. Jake shook his head. I'm just a technician. I fix lights. I eat snacks. I'm not whatever you think I am. Torv, Jake's four-armed alien friend, stepped forward with a small device. May I? He asked gently. Jake nodded. Torv placed the scanner on Jake's arm. It beeped. Once. Twice. Then red lights exploded across the screen. Torv gasped. He carries a locked genome sequence, one not seen in 12,000 cycles. What does that mean? Jake asked again, this time more quietly. Kara turned toward him, her voice softer than before. It means, you may not be from Earth. Not fully. They rushed him to the genetics chamber, a hidden room filled with glowing machines, ancient relics, and crystal DNA vaults. Inside, a Zarkali elder named Zelmara activated a long-forbidden device. A hologram appeared in the air, a human-like figure surrounded by thousands of glowing alien scripts. Long ago, Zelmara said, before Zarkali, before the Ghost Fleet, there was another race, The Valeri, part organic, part energy. They seeded their knowledge across many worlds, including Earth. Jake watched the hologram. What happened to them? They vanished, Kara answered. Some say they became light. Others say they were hunted. By the ghost fleet, Tharn added. They feared what the Valeri left behind. Torv looked at Jake. You are a descendant of that bloodline, not by body, but by echo. Your DNA carries instructions, something ancient, something locked. Jake laughed nervously. So now I'm part alien? Kara placed her hand on his chest. Not alien. More. He felt dizzy, like the world had just opened under his feet. So that's why they're here? He whispered. To erase me? Tharn nodded. Or to control you. If they unlock your blood, they can use you as a key. To ancient weapons, forbidden knowledge, or worse. I don't want to be a key, Jake said. You don't have a choice, Kara replied. A warning alarm blared. The ghost fleet was moving. Ships surrounded the outpost like a closing fist, but they didn't fire. Instead, one single drone entered. The station, a sleek black sphere humming with low energy. It floated through the halls untouched, until it stopped, in front of Jake. A voice spoke from it, not through speakers, but directly into his mind. Open the door. Jake stumbled, backward. What the hell? Kara stepped in front of him. Back away from him. The drone's voice was cold and ancient. You carry the seed, we need it returned. Your kind should not have touched it, Jake shouted back. I don't even know what it is. The drone pulsed with light. Suddenly images flooded Jake's brain. A city in the stars, burning in. Silence a symbol. 3 circles and a line, pulsing red, a memory he didn't remember. A hand reaching toward a glowing cube. He fell to the floor, gasping. Kara caught him. What did it show you? I don't know, he whispered. Something old. Something inside me. Tharn crushed the drone with his staff. It screamed for a moment, then died. They're trying to trigger him, he growled. It's beginning. That night, Jake sat in his room, alone. He stared at his hands, wondering what part of him didn't belong to him anymore. Kara entered, quiet but confident. She sat beside him, placing a small crystal in his hand. What's this? He asked. A soul mirror, she said. It shows what's true. He looked into the crystal. At first, he saw only darkness, then light, his own face. But different, glowing, ancient, powerful. That's me? It's who you can be, Kara said. I'm scared, he admitted. So was I, she whispered. When I bonded with you, I thought it was just tradition, just duty. But now, I know. I was chosen, and so were you. They sat in silence, but in Jake's chest, something awakened. Not power, not magic. Purpose. At dawn, the outpost shook again. This time, it was a ground landing. Enemy troops had entered the base. The ghost fleet had stopped waiting. Jake ran with Kara and Torv through the lower halls. Explosions echoed. Metal screamed. Alarms flashed red. They reached the core chamber, the heart of the station. Inside it was something Jake had never seen before. A massive door made of crystal and metal. Alien symbols moved across it like water. What is that? He asked. Kara stepped forward. A vault, she said. Zarkali legend calls it the Mind Gate. No one has opened it. Tharn arrived, blood on his robe. It is time. Kara looked at Jake. Only you can unlock it. Why me? Because, Tharn said, your kind sealed it. Jake approached the door. The symbols began to glow. Returned to Earth, he touched the surface. A spark. A hum. A deep voice that said, welcome home. The door opened. Inside, a blinding light. When Jake touched the Mind Gate, the world changed. Light filled the room, cold, bright, and endless. He couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The light wasn't just around him, it was inside him, and then it all vanished. He stood on Earth, or something that looked like Earth. A cold breeze brushed his face. Tall buildings surrounded him, gray, silent, empty. The streets were cracked. The skies colorless. Kara was gone, no Torv, no Tharn, no alarms, just Jake, standing in the middle of a dead city. "Hello?" he shouted. Only silence answered. And then, a whisper, inside his mind. "This is your home, but not the one you left." Suddenly the buildings flickered. They weren't real. They were memories. Simulations. Echoes of places Jake had once seen as a child. He walked through a frozen park. Swings moved with no wind. Birds stood mid-air, unmoving. He touched a tree. It vanished. None of this was real. A figure appeared in the distance, tall human, dressed in black. No face. It spoke in the voice of the ghost fleet. "Earth is the final gate. You carry the key. Open the vault, and the war ends, or everything dies." Jake tried to speak, but the world shattered like glass. He woke up screaming. He was back, inside a cryopod. Cold tubes disconnected from his arms, white lights, steel walls, blinking monitors, and a voice. "Subject 17 is awake. Alert command." The door opened. 5 armed soldiers pointed rifles at him. A woman stepped forward. Earth military uniform. Cold eyes. Sharp voice. "Jake Wilson," she said. "Welcome back to Earth." They took him to a high-security base hidden under the Himalayas. He was told nothing, shown nothing, given food, a plain shirt, and a small metal room. For days, no one answered his questions. Where was Kara? What happened to the station? Why was he here? Eventually, the woman returned. She introduced herself as Commander Ruth Hale, leader of the Planetary Defense Intelligence Division. "We've been watching you, Jake," she said, "since the snack bar incident. You spied on me because I ate chocolate? You bonded with a Zarkali warrior," she said flatly. "You accessed alien tech, and now the Ghost Fleet is here. Everything connects to you." Jake leaned forward. "They said I carry something, a code, from some ancient race." Ruth nodded. "Valerie code. You're not the only one." Jake froze. "What?" She tapped a screen. Files opened. Pictures, faces, children, adults, all human, all marked with a strange glowing symbol on their skin. "You're part of something larger. A dormant bloodline. A failed project from before Earth's history was rewritten." "Wait. Rewritten? You think history is what the books say?" Ruth leaned closer. "Your ancestors didn't come from apes. They were implanted, memory locked, scattered to prevent another war." Jake's mind spiraled. Everything he knew about his world was a lie. "What do you want from me?" Jake asked. "We want your memories," she said. "The ones the Valerie locked inside you. The Ghost Fleet will kill to access them. We want to unlock them first." "And then what?" he asked. "Use me as a weapon?" Ruth didn't answer. Just then, alarms screamed, lights flickered, explosions rocked the base. A voice shouted over the speakers. "Breach! Unknown vessel entering from subspace gate." Ruth ran for the exit, but Jake didn't move. He felt it. She was here. The wall exploded. A tall figure stepped through fire and smoke, armor cracked with battle damage, glowing eyes burned with fury. Kara Gzell. She was holding a plasma blade in one hand and a burning soldier's rifle in the other. Her voice echoed through the chamber. "No one touches him." Ruth pulled her sidearm, but Kara moved like lightning, in. One clean strike, she disarmed the commander, knocked her out, and stood before Jake. "You came for me," he said, stunned. "You are mine," Kara said. "Did you think I would leave you with these soft-faced earthlings?" Jake laughed, then coughed from the smoke. "Can you get us out of here?" "Already opened a gate," she said. "But we don't go alone." Kara pulled a device from her belt and threw it to the floor. A hologram appeared. Torv, injured but alive, speaking through a comm. Jake, listen. They took the vault key from your blood. The humans are going to activate the final gate on Earth. If they do it wrong, it will destroy the planet. Kara finished. They escaped through the gate, back to the orbiting Zarkali flagship, but what they returned to was chaos. The Ghost Fleet had followed them, and now Earth was in the center of a final war. But this time, the key wasn't just knowledge, it was Jake. And something inside him was waking up. Kara took him to a sacred chamber inside the Zarkali warship. This is where your mind must unlock, she said. The last memory. The last truth. And if I fail? Kara looked down. We all die. Jake sat in the center of the glowing circle, a crystal interface connected to his hands, chest, and forehead. He closed his eyes, and the stars disappeared. He saw the truth. He was never just human. His body was born on Earth, but his soul was ancient. The Valerie didn't vanish. They became part of other species, hidden inside bloodlines, waiting for the day they were needed again. And now, their last carrier was awake. Inside him was the last map to the source of all power. The reason the Ghost Fleet had been hunting for centuries, and Earth was the final seal. Jake opened his eyes. They glowed. Kara stepped back, awe in her voice. You've changed. No, Jake said. I've remembered. He looked at the map inside his mind. It showed 3 locations across Earth. One of them was beneath the ocean. One was buried under ice. The last was hidden beneath a city Jake once called home. War of the Snack Pact War had arrived. Not just a battle of ships or soldiers. This was a war of memory, of blood, of origin. And Jake Wilson stood at its center, once a lonely technician, now the last carrier of an ancient power hidden inside. Humanity for thousands of years. The Ghost Fleet surrounded Earth, silent ships, black metal. No light, no sound. They didn't broadcast messages. They didn't ask for surrender. They came to a race. And they were close. Jake stood on the bridge of Kara Excel's flagship, staring at the glowing interface inside his own hands. His body had changed, still human, still him, but now filled with energy that hummed through his bones. His mind could access places across space and time. Kara stood beside him, her armor battered, eyes calm but heavy. They want what's in you, she said. Your memory, your code, your will. Jake nodded. Then we don't give it. We use it. Are you sure? I'm not sure of anything, Jake said, except that I'm not letting Earth burn. The Zarkali Council formed a war circle. Elders, warriors, and strategists stood around a projection of Earth. 3 glowing points marked the Valerie vaults hidden beneath the planet. One under the ice caps of Antarctica, one deep in the trench below the Pacific Ocean, and one hidden under Jake's old neighborhood, of course, he muttered, beneath the taco place. Kara smiled slightly. Your home matters more than you knew. Doesn't make the tacos taste better, he replied. Then his expression hardened. We hit all 3 sites. We unlock the vaults before the Ghost Fleet does. And we end this. How? Torv asked through the comms. His arms were in casts, but his voice still cheerful. Jake raised his hand. Blue lines of light traced across his skin. With this, he said, and the dumbest idea I've ever had. They split into 3 teams. Kara led the ocean mission. Torv coordinated the Antarctic strike. And Jake? He returned to Earth. To the one place he never thought he'd see again. His old apartment. The one where he first unwrapped that choco nut bar. The city was half empty, locked down. Skies gray, Earth governments had gone silent. Satellites were jammed. Fear spread faster than truth. People whispered about aliens, invasions, and energy storms. But no one understood the real danger. The vault beneath the city was waking up. Jake walked through the streets, disguised in a black cloak. Drones hovered above. Soldiers patrolled, but none saw him. His energy made him invisible to machines now. At the corner of his old block, he paused. The smell of burnt coffee, the sound of distant barking. Memories hit him like waves. Kara appeared beside him. She had followed secretly, unable to stay away. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "You shouldn't be alone," she replied. He looked at her. "You stayed because of a snack," he said, half laughing. "No," she replied. "I stayed because of what the snack meant. You gave something small. And it meant everything." They entered the vault chamber through a broken basement wall behind an old pizza shop. Beneath it was a smooth silver staircase, spiraling down for miles. No lights, no gravity, no sound, just whispers in Jake's head. "You are the last, the seed, the spark." At the bottom, the vault waited, a giant silver cube floating mid-air. Symbols glowed across its surface, 3 rings and a line. Kara stood guard. "Unlock it," she said, "before they get here." Jake placed his hand on the cube. The symbols flared with light. Energy shot through the room. Walls trembled. A deep sound echoed, a pulse older than stars. Outside, the Ghost Fleet reacted instantly. They dove toward Earth in a swarm. Hundreds of ships. War had begun. Across the ocean, Kara's team battled underwater drones. Sonic blasts shook the sea. Creatures older than recorded history awoke and fled. At the ice caps, Torv's team fought in freezing winds against machines that bent time around them. But the center of everything was Jake, his mind inside the cube, his memories unlocking, his true self returning. He saw the full history now. The Valerie created not weapons but seeds of evolution. They placed them inside chosen minds. Each seed carried knowledge, emotion, memory, and the power to build or destroy worlds. Jake carried the last seed, and now it bloomed. His body floated mid-air, eyes glowing white. The cube dissolved around him. The vault accepted him, and Earth awoke. Mountains cracked, oceans roared. The skies burned gold. A signal pulsed from the planet, a beacon that reached across galaxies. It said one thing: "We are not weak. We are not forgotten. We remember." The Ghost Fleet arrived. Hundreds of ships surrounded Earth. They fired, but their blasts bent away, deflected by a new energy grid powered by Jake himself. Jake stepped outside the vault, no longer walking, floating. His voice echoed across frequencies. "You hunted the past, now face the future." With a wave of his hand, the Earth-based vaults connected. Light erupted from every corner of the planet. The Ghost Fleet ships froze. Their energy turned against them. And in minutes, the fleet began to fall, one by one like black leaves in the wind. Kara stood beside Jake, speechless. "What are you now?" she whispered. Jake looked at her, not with glowing eyes, but with a soft smile. Just a guy who wanted his snack back. After the battle, silence fell. The fleet was gone. The sky cleared, and Earth was awake again. Governments tried to understand. Scientists tried to explain. But most people just stared at the sky and whispered about the boy of light and the alien bride. Later, in a quiet moment, Jake and Kara sat on the roof of his old apartment. Birds flew. The wind was calm. Jake opened a small package inside, a single choco nut bar. "They found it in storage," he said. "Must have been lost during the chaos." Kara leaned closer. "Will you offer it to me again?" Jake smiled. "No," he said. "This time we share it." They broke the bar in half. Together they ate. No war, no prophecy, no fear, just peace. True partners Earth was no longer silent. After the fall of the Ghost Fleet, after the unlocking of the Valerie vaults, after the sky itself turned gold and the oceans sang with energy, something had changed, not just in the stars, in people. They felt it in their bones, like waking up from a dream you didn't know you were trapped in, a pulse, a connection, a memory that didn't belong to them yet lived inside them. Earth was no longer asleep. Jake Wilson sat at a council table, clean-shaven, wearing formal robes woven from Zarkali silk and earth cotton. He hated the robes. Next to him sat Caraxel, tall and silent, wearing her battle-worn armor like a second skin. Opposite them, across the galaxy's first joint species council, sat 30 beings from 20 worlds, some organic, some machine, some half-thought. One of them blinked 4 eyes in rhythm and asked, "So, Jake Wilson of Earth? What do your people want?" Jake leaned back. He didn't speak right away. Kara glanced at him. Her fingers touched his under the table. His voice was calm. Not war. Not power. Not revenge. "We want what everyone wants." He looked around the chamber. A place. A voice. And peace that doesn't come with chains. The room was quiet. Then slowly the alien leaders nodded, one by one, until the oldest among them said Earth will be recognized, not as a colony, not as prey, but as equal. Later that night, Jake and Kara walked through a glowing park on a new moon colony, built by humans and Zarkali together. Trees floated above the ground. Flowers sang in soft voices. Gravity danced slightly off rhythm. Kara reached for his hand. "You spoke well," she said. "I was shaking the whole time. You didn't show it." "That's because I'm great at faking confidence," he smiled. "You taught me that." Kara paused, then said something he didn't expect. "Do you regret it?" He stopped. "Regret what?" "Giving me the snack." Jake laughed, loud and long, then pulled her close. "Kara, I don't regret anything. Not even getting hit in the face with a bone during our engagement feast. You looked scared," she teased. "I was terrified, but you looked beautiful." Kara looked away for a moment, then said softly, "Our bond began with a mistake, but it became everything." Back on Earth, life was changing. People had questions. Not all had answers. Governments struggled to explain why alien ships now floated above cities as protectors, not invaders. Children were born with strange dreams of stars and voices. Some humans could now understand alien languages in their sleep. Technology bloomed overnight, clean energy, fast healing, food that grew from crystal soil. But not everyone celebrated. In secret rooms, powerful humans whispered, "We've become pets. They gave us peace but stole our power. What if they decide to control us later?" Jake knew this would happen. Peace is not a switch. It's a journey. 1 month after the war, a transmission reached Jake's personal channel. It came from the ruins of an old ghost fleet station thought to be dead. A voice spoke in code. "The final echo awakens. You are not the last. You are the gatekeeper." Jake froze. Kara read the message. Her jaw tightened. Someone survived. They traveled to the ruins, deep in a forgotten star cluster. What they found was unexpected. Not soldiers. Not ghosts. A child. Human in form. But glowing like Jake had during the awakening. Silent. Eyes wide. The child touched Jake's hand. And Jake fell into a vision. He saw the future. Not one future. Many. In one, Earth became a beacon, a place of peace, art, and understanding. In another, it became a fortress, paranoid, angry, full of fear. In the darkest path, Earth burned, not by alien fire, but by human hands, afraid of change. The voice in the vision whispered, "Your story is not the end. It is the spark. Others will rise, others will fall. But what you do now shapes everything." Jake woke, gasping. Kara held him. "What did you see?" "The weight of it all," he said. "And a second chance." In the months that followed, Jake and Kara began the Pact Initiative, a treaty that united species through shared rituals, not contracts. No one signed papers. They shared food. Snacks from every species became sacred. A Torvian fruit exchange led to the end of a trade war. A human child gave a choco nut bar to a reptilian ambassador and created peace between rivals of 200 years. They called it the Snack Pact. And Jake? He never claimed to be a leader. He simply spoke truth. He told stories of love, of fear, of two people who found each other by accident and saved the galaxy because of it. On the 1-year anniversary of the Ghost Fleet's fall, a statue was unveiled, not of a hero, not of a weapon, just Jake and Kara, sitting together, breaking a choco nut bar in half. Beneath it, the plaque read, "She took my snack, so I gave her everything, and in return she gave me peace." But one last twist waited. In the deep archives of the Valerie vaults, beneath layers even Jake couldn't access before, a message appeared. Only Jake and Kara saw it. An ancient face. The first Valerie, his voice echoed in their minds. "You are the seed, but the root lies elsewhere." The final story has not yet begun. Jake blinked. Kara whispered, "What does that mean?" Jake smiled slowly. "I guess we're not done. Yet the end."